Hey guys, MaliciousCompliance here, and welcome to day number 4 of r/MaliciousCompliance, where today I am doing a theme of clothes. So I found a medium story, a long story, and a short story. They're all on the screen. This one, and this one. So let's have a good old read. Keep picking me for a random locker search? Meet my underwear. Okay. Many years ago, I worked for an outdoor activity center playland in the retail department. Throughout the park, there were many different stops that we manned, and I absolutely loved working there despite it being hard work for little pay. One day I had a run-in with a manager who seriously berated me in front of the whole entire team, along with others from different departments. I was advised by a manager from a different team to make a formal complaint, which I did. Others came out with similar complaints and said manager was advised to find employment elsewhere, but not sacked. Now, unbeknownst to me, I triggered the chain of events that would lead to me leaving the company. Now, before the main story, there's some background info that is relevant to my malicious compliance. There were a few rules in place that were designed to prevent theft, including no more than £10 to be allowed on the shop floor, which was to be checked before your shift. Anything over this must be declared to management and left in your locker, and all staff had to agree to random locker pocket searches. My voice is not that sharp today, guys. I literally just woken up and started this. in the 2 years I've worked here, had never been picked for a random search. There were around several hundred employees, so the odds were incredibly slim. As soon as our disgraced manager left, I suddenly found myself picked at random for a search. This involved turning out my pockets, removing my shoes and socks, and then being escorted to the locker room to empty the contents out. Nothing was found, so I was sent back to the shop floor. The following week, I was again picked at random for a search, which again turned up nothing. Rumors were soon doing the rounds that had upset the department's remaining management team after instigating the action against my former manager, and they were going to force me out by any means necessary. I realized that I needed to act, so started job hunting and then my malicious compliance. I started taking the backpack to work filled with £20 in pennies. Every morning I declared the amount in my locker as required, and sure enough, after a couple of days, I was once again selected for a weekly random search. I got paid to watch a security guard and supervisor count 2,000 pennies. As expected, I passed said search and off I went. This time, a second time round, with now £30 in pennies, and I decided to step up my game. At the start of the following week, I patiently awaited my random search with glee, knowing that what awaited them. The day soon arrived, and off I marched to the lockers, ready for their treat. I lifted out my backpack and passed it to the security guard and supervisor, who dived straight in without any gloves. Oh, how they retched when they discovered what was in there. I had several pairs of my period-soaked panties waiting in there for them. They were gingerly laid on the floor beside my bag as they counted my bag of pennies. The smell from the panties was unreal. They had been festering in there for days in anticipation. Once again, the search revealed nothing, and off to work I went. After that, I was not picked for another search again. I left after a couple more weeks to a new job, and keeping in touch with some people, I discovered that new rule was introduced and that tried dictating what you could and couldn't take to work with you. This soon led to a mass walkout of staff, and after a year, the place shut down due to unrelated matters. Wow. Just okay, that is one way to get back at your bosses. Period soaked pennies. Oh, and that is tame for the stuff I've talked about. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The cheerleaders can break dress code because they're wearing school uniforms. Guess I'm wearing mine. Oh no. Someone's story about their friend wearing a skirt to school and getting bloomers reminded me of my own malicious compliance in high school. Way back in 2013, I was a sophomore in high school, and there was a tradition that on Fridays, the cheerleaders, football players, without their pads of course, band members and the other groups performing wore their uniforms to class. This wasn't a written tradition, and only the cheerleaders and dance team uniforms broke dress code. Nobody really batted an eye to it. I wasn't a skirt person, but I liked dresses once in a while. Once in a while, sorry. As no one could tell by my user, I grew up in Texas. Oh, Texas food tough. Yeah. And it's still significantly hot in August/September. So one time, while wearing a casual sundress in September, I was pulled out of class and reprimanded because the end of my dress was 4 inches above the knee, when the dress code said no shorter than 2. I pointed out the cheerleaders and dance teams' uniforms every Friday and how they reach mid-thigh at their longest. But was told that was okay because students can wear official school uniforms, and was sent home to change. Clearly, somehow, someone had forgotten I was on the golf team. Immediately, my mind was turning to the next Friday. The school had recently upgraded the golf team uniforms the year prior, and the girls' team uniforms consisted of a short sleeve collared polo shirt and a skirt. Or a skirt. If you don't know what a skirt is, it's basically a skirt and short shorts combined. It looks like a skirt, but essentially act like built-in bike shorts. And those fuckers were short. I'd argue shorter than the average cheerleader skirt. Oh no. So the next Friday, about 3 days later, to my parents' surprise, I was ready to go that morning in my golf uniform, as compared to taking a bag to keep the clothes in to change into after school. But I just said, Fridays, we can wear our uniforms to class, and they accepted without question and took me to school. Well, by my second period, I was sent to the office yet again, and the first thing the assistant principal asked me was why I would deliberately disobey her right after our last conversation, and threatened in school suspension. I'll never get anywhere in life by not listening, yada yada yada. When I finally had a chance to get a word in, I said, but this is my school golf uniform, and I pointed to our school's logo that was sewn into my polo shirt. You said students can wear official school uniforms to class. Why are the cheerleader uniforms okay and mine isn't? This isn't even a skirt, it's a skirt. It has pants. I still remember how pissed off she was. She stared me down for what seemed like a millennia. Then she snapped and told me to get out of her office and go sit in the lobby area. That I knew what she meant, and she would be calling my parents about this blatant disrespect. So I waited and played on my iPod and chatted with the nice secretary, trying to keep myself distracted, because in reality I had been really trying not to cry. I had massive anxiety when it came to authority, and I still had my naive sense of justice. And I didn't just want to let this go. After about 20 minutes, she popped her head out, and in a very monotone voice, told me I could go back to class and to let teachers know I had got permission from the front office to wear my uniform. Then she went back in and closed the door before I could even think to respond. I spent the rest of my day dealing with teachers questioning me about my outfit, and one or two calling the front office to double check my claim that I had in fact gotten permission, and went to practice after school as normal before being carpooled back home. My dad met me at the front door with a small smirk and asked him what in the world happened because I knew he was the go-to contact for my school. So I knew she called him. He explained that when she called, she tried to get him to come to school and get me, and talked about punishments for my insubordination. He immediately began to argue with her and admitted he raised his voice quite a bit, asking why I wasn't allowed to wear my sport uniform that the school provided to me as a dress requirement at my golf practice, and mentioned taking this all the way to the school board and resolving this obvious favoritism. Then he asked me not to do that again, but he was proud of me and told me, I know I had told you never to start a fight, but to always fight back. I always fought physically, but you damn sure took the advice. Oh, this is what happens when you force certain people to wear certain school uniforms. And, like, when someone wears the right school uniform, you can't argue with them. Oh my gosh. Okay. And our last story. You're firing me because the uniform you forced me to wear flatters me. Okay, bye. My first job out of school was as a language teacher in a private school. It sounds like it's straight out of a fiction book. I was employed to teach grades 6 to 9. However, because I was the only teacher for that language, the owner begged me to teach grade 1 to 5 when I had any time to spare. I wasn't paid for the extra work. I taught each of the classes I was employed to teach twice a week, and the other classes once a week. Besides that, lunch duties were added to my work, so I hardly sat all day. The school had a preschool at a different location, and all the teachers there wore uniforms. The preschool workers, all females, were the only ones required to wear uniforms. I was the only female teacher on the grade 1 to 9 staff. One day, the owner calls me to her office and asks me why I'm not in a uniform like the preschool staff. I tell her no one informed me about wearing uniforms in my department, and also the male teachers do not wear uniforms. She gets slightly angry and orders me to sew one with my own money. Sew one? I try to protest, but I see there's no way getting through to her. My parents convince me to let it go and sew one. When she sees me in the uniform, she goes off about how figure-flattering the uniform is on me, telling me I'm trying to seduce the boys, and calls me a prostitute. She orders me to sew a new one or don't come back. My uniform was not short, way below the knee, didn't show cleavage, nor was it tight. I ignore her and she fires me a week later while I'm in the middle of a class. I just pack up my stuff and left. The next day, the principal calls me to tell me the owner is asking why I didn't show up that day. Duh, you fired me. She calls me herself and orders me to come back to work, talking about how do I expect the kids to eat lunch. Good luck finding a donkey like me to work for that pittance. I went back through, but not without double my pay. Then I quit the next month. Oh my gosh. That person, like, it was a lady as well. That is dumb. Oh, you're wearing an outfit that's too sexy. Yeah. If that's the case, why are you making her sew an outfit? Can't you just buy a uniform? Of course it's sewing. The most labor intensive thing for making clothes. Ugh. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that. That is just dumb. Anyways, links will be in the description to my main channel and my other channel, the channel that you're on right now. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. I'm the Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.